Plaintiff Teresa Polk says she met the defendant while they were both visiting loved ones in prison, and they became good friends who enjoyed smoking marijuana. Teresa's suing because the defendant promised to pay for Teresa's bridesmaid dress for the defendant's wedding, but has failed to do so. Defendant Janae Harris Gardner says she's a third-generation gang member, and her parents both ran with the Crips. Janae claims at age 12, she was taken on her first ride-along to get revenge for her brother's murder, and she denies owing Teresa for anything.
Tell me about your association.
Well, we go back since 1989. We met each other while visiting loved ones in the prison. Me visiting my longtime friend and her visiting her boyfriend. Later on, went on to marry my longtime friend in 1995. We used
Had he been freed from prison?
No, I married him in prison. Mm-hmm. And we used to hang out together, smoke weed and drink and stuff, but I no longer
When you went
that.
to visit him?
No. We used to hang out together at each other's house.
You talking about her? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Because last we were speaking, we were talking about marrying your longtime friend.
Yes.
And then you said we used to smoke weed together, we used to drink together. All right, so you switched over to her without saying so.
Excuse me, sir.
No problem. I just needed to understand it. I mean, they smuggle a lot into the prisons now. They smuggle weed, they smuggle alcohol, they smuggle drugs, hard drugs, and they smuggle cell phones in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if you did do all that when you went to visit.
I no longer
Sometimes it's the guards that sell it. So you can just, when they escort you back to your visitation, you just pull out a few dollars. Can you send me some Crown Royal while we are on the way back? All right, so the two of you became friends enough to hang out.
Oh, yes. We've been friends a long time up until a couple of years ago.
Okay, was that when this occurred?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear from you.
First of all, I love you.
Thank you.
I talk about you all the time. I'm a youth advocate, a mentor, and a motivational speaker. So I talk about you to the kids all the time, about where you came from, where you went, where you are now. So I always tell them.
What he said, we don't want to hear that.
You know what? It just lets them know that they can come through what they've been going through. So yeah, I talk about you all the time.
Thank you.
Basically about me, I am a third generation gang member. I was born under, my mother and father ran with Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington, who was the co-founder of the Crips and the founder of the Crips. So I grew up in that lifestyle. So I did a lot of stuff in the past.
I went to Tookie's funeral.
My mom was there.
Yeah, and I went to his execution.
Yeah.
And
that was pretty sad.
What occurred with him, he was convicted of murder and served some years writing books about how children can avoid gangs and get out once they are caught up in it. And so there was a movement to save him from execution, not to let him out, but to save him from execution, suggesting that it might be more beneficial to society to let him keep writing books that help young people in gangs and help them overcome gangs. So I protested his execution, thinking that he might be more beneficial behind bars. And I'm generally against the death penalty. So I had two reasons to protest.
He should have got redemption, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. That's what I do now. Living in South Central LA, growing up there, that's kind of how my background was.
Why'd you join the gang?
Well, I was kind of I was born in, basically.
You were born?
I was born in.
Oh, okay.
I was born in. Basically, my mother and father ran under them.
You can go to the gym if you're bored and play basketball. Go ahead.
My mother and father ran under them, so they just that's kind of what you do.
The culture you grew up in.
Yeah,
you were born
that's
into it. And
and I remember being, when my brother was murdered, and I was 12, they took me on my first ride along, which was pretty crazy.
To try and get revenge.
I plead the fifth.
you
But
rode.
basically, I went on my
Nonetheless.
first ride along very young.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're a youth advocate. That's what we need. When people come from that background, young people listen to them more. They say, you don't know nothing about my experience. You don't know anything about where I come from. So don't try to lecture me.
Yeah,
But they'll
exactly.
listen to you and they'll listen
They'll
to me
listen.
because we come from that. And so they
I'm
say,
real
Judge knows.
transparent.
Yeah.
Defendant Janae Harris Gardner is being sued by her former friend, who claims they met while they were both visiting loved ones in prison.
Tell me why you're suing today.
Well, I'm suing my friend for a breach of promise because she promised to pay for my bridesmaid dress to come to her wedding, and she didn't. And I had a receipt.
She didn't
Right
pay for
here.
the dress.
Yeah.
She told you she would pay for it. Why?
Yes.
You couldn't afford to? Don't the bridesmaids usually pay for their own
Well,
dresses?
I told her I couldn't afford it.
And she said, okay, I'll reimburse you.
Yes, and she said that she would also pay for my plane ticket, which she didn't.
How much were those two things to cost?
$254
For the,
for the dress.
how about for the plane ticket?
I never went because
How much was it to cost?
I don't know. because she
Okay,
never-
so you weren't gonna even bother to find out how much she was spending on you?
she never called me with the
I know, but
reservation.
my point is, when someone says to you, I will pay for something, a good friend, hang out this, and yeah, we smoke weed, we drink, we do all this. You don't bother to say, oh, okay, you're gonna pay for it? Okay, well, how much is it? So you didn't even ask, oh, you're gonna pay for the plane ticket? All right, make sure it's first class.
I didn't expect her to pay for first class.
I know, ma'am. My point is, perhaps you should have said, how much are you paying? As all right, thank you very much. There's thank yous. If it was a $150 ticket, you say thank you.
Well,
If it's a $1,000 ticket, oh, girl, thank you. Oh, my goodness, you are the best thing in the world.
well,
That's
I
the
told her
point I'm making.
If she couldn't afford the ticket,
I know, I'm having
asked-
fun. I'm having fun. Okay, so you promised to pay for the dress and she says you haven't. You have your receipt?
And here goes a thing where she said she would pay me back.
Ma'am?
No, sir. Not the dress. I had 11 bridesmaids and 11 groomsmen. I did agree to pay for the airline ticket. Everybody had 7 months to get their dress, their shoes, and the other accessories that came with it.
Let me see if you agree. I'm sending your money back to you real soon. Working on it now. Okay, you agreed to pay for it. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I miss you. I miss you too. I'm glad to see you.
Me too. I wanted to see you yesterday. I missed her so much.
her.
It's been a long
We're gonna
time.
go on being friends.
I have grandchildren. She don't even know.
I really missed her because she was a good friend of mine, and we're gonna go on being friends.
Just trying to get this part behind us. It's been 21 months actually. I've been married 21 months, so
So
I haven't spoke to her until a couple weeks ago. First times. It's been a lot.
I mean, I've been missing her.
Thank you. Really.